Hey guys, Stephanie here. Hit that like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do. Okay, so I wanted to talk about something. Okay, I'm going to talk about some like things that are kind of like comical. Like, really, are you fucking kidding me? You would think right now, like, we live in an episode of like South Park and SNL like combined together. That's how fucking crazy shit is. That's how, like, are you kidding me? Are you being serious? Is this real? Is Ashton Kutcher gonna jump out and be like, you've been pranked or punked, what the fuck ever? But like, nobody's saying we've been punked. This is like our new world of progressive liberalism, wow, I don't even know what to think about it anymore. Okay, so in California, all right, they have oh my god, I don't even feel right saying this. They call it hobo happy hour. Hobo happy hour. Okay, and it's a $5 million program that gives free beer and wine and vodka shots to alcoholics that are homeless or homeless people who drink. So then I was thinking, where do they come up with these programs? Like, not only that, Gavin Newsom can't even account for like the billions of dollars for all these like homeless programs that were supposed to happen. They were supposed to work. All this money was pumped into what? It's still a huge issue. California has a huge homelessness problem. And so, I mean, if you follow the money, it's kind of interesting. Because, see, Gavin Newsom is the governor, right? Nancy Pelosi, she was the Speaker of the House. And also, she's related to Gavin Newsom. And then if you look up what Nancy Pelosi owns, it's Zinfandel Lane Winery. Who do you think got that contract for the free beer, wine, and vodka? Like, seriously? Like, oh my God. Like, there's so many important things they could be doing with it. And then they always say, well, and I even have a clip, I'm going to play it in between the next topic because I'm going to get better at editing and doing all that, where the girl is saying that their clients, okay, so the nurses, mind you, there's medical staff involved and, residential homes and all this kind of stuff. And they take them to Giants games. They go on field trips. These are, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but it sounds crazy to me. But the chick is talking about how they went on a field trip, to a Giants game. And they even were on the Jumbotron. And I'm thinking, are you fucking kidding me? Like, gas alone, and like, I'm in Texas, and for my car, it's like $4 a gallon, right? California, I think it's like 7 something. I'm not sure if it's that exact amount, but I remember seeing something about that. Something similar to that amount in like California or another blue state. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like an insult to taxpayers who like, are dealing with, inflation in the grocery store, like 30% groceries are higher, gas is back up, like interest rates are at an all-time high. It's insane. And they're saying like, oh, we're adding so many more jobs. I don't believe you, because my daughters, their friends, or, they're teenagers trying to just get, jobs for the summer. Nobody's hiring. And I know that with like a lot of other people too. They're like, dude, I put all this, but literally nobody's hiring. And it's like, well, the economy, look at it. It can't survive like this. It affects everybody. The only people it doesn't affect is the 1%. But it affects everybody in all middle classes. And this was how they took down Venezuela. What they did in Venezuela is they just kept raising the price on, your basic goods like toilet paper, paper towels, just like laundry detergent, just like your everyday stuff, just like what we're dealing with right now, right? How they said inflation wasn't going to last. It was just temporary. Oh, it's going to do this. It's going to do that. It's going to work itself out. Oh, it's for the best. And then you have like majority of Americans who are putting a ton of stuff on like credit cards just to cover the cost. And like, they do like Christmas and all that. because they were told it's just temporary. Like, oh no, it's just temporary. So now it's not just temporary anymore. It is fixed, and it's getting higher and higher. So majority of Americans, I think it's like millions of Americans, like right now, are like defaulted on their credit card bills. You have, I think it was like 500 million people that faced foreclosure. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on that people aren't really being honest about. And see, what's happening is, while they're doing, it started during COVID because, all the small businesses were shut down. So during COVID, all the middle classes lost a total of $3.7 trillion. I mean, people lost everything during the lockdowns because of the lockdowns. And then, while the middle class lost, $3.7 trillion, well, guess what? The most richest men on this planet, all the billionaires and millionaires, guess how much they got? $3.9 trillion. It's the biggest wealth transfer in human history. And you're paying for it. That's inflation. That is the inflation they are not speaking about. They talk, like Janet Yellen comes out there and she's talking about, oh, it's only temporary. Oh, it's just that. Oh, we got to go higher. No, we got to do this. And the Fed's got to do that. And they got to do this. No, they don't. Not only that, why are we being gouged at the grocery store? Like, I'm sorry, but, during COVID, it was more rational. People would, get more behind the, because of, the pandemic and all that. It was going to be a little more expensive because, the way things had to be shipped and all that because of health codes. But now, what is the excuse now? I mean, you can't blame it on that. What is the blame for that? And the same with like shrinkflation. And like, you notice like everything's getting smaller, but nobody wants to talk about that. But our government has the money to take homeless alcoholics to a Giants game. And California has been known to do really crazy stuff, like their free like needle program, and like other states that do like the safe, houses where they can shoot their heroin and their drugs and all that. Like, but here's the kicker: you need to look at, okay, all these programs with all this money going toward them. Okay, is it realistic? Not only that, what percentage is actually going to that cause? What's actually going to kickbacks? Not only that, who are those contracts going to, and who profits from it? Because I think like programs like this, the taxpayers should be able to have a say. I don't think they should just be able to do whatever they want when they're already miserably failing and the state is already in debt. I mean, just like our government, we're in trillions of dollars of debt, but we keep giving out money. I mean, you might as well like get a sombrero and like do a mustache and like go to the Texas border and cross over and just be like, no English, and like pretend like you're an immigrant and you get a $10,000 gift card and you get a plane ticket wherever you want to go. It's like, so you can cross over here and be like, oh, I told you so. You'll get a free fucking vacation. They'll give you like $10,000 debit card, a free flight to wherever you want to go, and you don't even have to have real identification, which is weird because when I go to the TSA, it's like they want to feel you up, take x-rays, go through your stuff, like act all crazy, take your shoes off, take your belt off. Oh my God. But these people literally just come here like literally on boats. They're using boats and just crashing shores. I'm just like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Okay, so it gets even better. Okay, so Eric Adams, the mayor for New York, comes out and, he was for sanctuary cities, right? To begin with. He was all for it, right? And then once all of the sanctuary seekers, or what, I don't know what the politically correct term is right now for that without getting canceled or without like my video being taken down, well, they were brought to his city, and then the black communities got really mad because they were like, yo, like, you're coming into our neighborhoods, taking over our schools. They are taking, you know, these climate migrants, or I don't know what the term is, but you know what I mean, asylum seekers. Yeah, we get my drift. But, you know, they're going into their communities and they're realizing, okay, these are our resources that they're going to be tapping into. Not only that, these are our jobs too, because these are, you know, blue collar jobs that are going to be lost, because when you have, you know, like diversity, equity, and, you know, all this political propaganda put into the work. Sorry, oh my God, it's a mosquito. No, it's going to bite me in my sleep. So when you have like all these, you know, socially correct, politically correct kind of like policies where you have to hire so many this, so many that, it's not even based off of your skill or your test scores or anything. It's just basically because of identity politics, which is terrifying, especially now that it's in the medical field. But so, you know, to me, it's like, he says he's against it. Then, you know, other communities realize, wait, this dude, that's taken from us. So then these people get red pilled, and they start seeing like Democrats, they really don't do anything for their community, you know? And they're realizing like these people are getting more than we ever got. So it's like kind of like the walls are closing in. So then Eric Adams is like, you know, I'm against this, you know, we need to stop this. We need to, you know, we need control at the border, blah, 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 blah. He comes out with all this like border security stuff. He's not for it. And then he comes out, I mean, I think he's just doing it because it's election season and he's got to make sure he keeps the black vote. I mean, I think that's why all of them do it. I think it's just pandering. I think they just keep manipulating and using certain races of people for their own benefit. And to me, that's sick, dude. You're like, your karma's going to be so bad. Not only that, you're just disgusting for it. But now he comes out and says, well, you know, we need lifeguards. We need lifeguards. And these migrants, they're excellent swimmers. Like, can you not be more offensive? Oh my God. They're excellent swimmers. Meaning, you know, they just swim across the border. They're skilled. They know. If they can make it across the border, they could be a lifeguard. I mean, my God. I just don't get this shit at all. To me, I'm just thinking like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. They can come out and say this. Okay, and then you got the governor, Kathy, I don't know how to say her last name, Hochul, Hochul, right? She comes out and she starts saying how in the Bronx, black children, they've never seen a computer. They don't even know what a computer is. I'm sorry, but didn't we have COVID lockdowns and kids had to be on virtual schooling on computers? So did all the black kids in the Bronx not get their laptops and stuff like that? Because as I remember, there was a ton of money awarded to the schools. And I remember, you know, it being for laptops, you know, for kids to be able to do virtual schooling for a year. And teachers' unions basically using kids as pawns to get what they want. Like, oh, well, we want this and we want that. And it became kind of like just this weird thing we all kind of witnessed during lockdowns. So it's kind of weird that she says that, you know, no black kid in the Bronx, they don't even know what a computer is. They have no idea. They've never seen one. So all the black kids in the Bronx during the lockdowns never had virtual schooling. Because if memory serves me correctly, all in New York, they primarily went into black communities and black schools to house migrants and also had kids do virtual schooling because they had to house the migrants in their communities. So again, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's blatantly right there. What she's saying is a lie. Not only that, it creates more division. And not only that, it's offensive. It's offensive to say, oh, well, I'm not for, like, whatever is not legal, I'm not for it. You know what I mean? But the fact that you have these people who literally welcomed you, then didn't want you because of the public outrage, then they got to kiss the public's ass, because they don't want to be, they don't want to lose during this election season. They want to be able to stay in their place. So they keep doing these false promises. But in the meantime, they're like, hey, we want you to stay. You'll be great lifeguards. Like, I'm just done with it all. To me, it's just, like, so sick. It's sick. And they use race. And the thing that cracks me up is all the people that are crying, like, in our government, like, black kids in the Bronx have never seen a computer. They've never seen a computer before. This is the first time this will be so beneficial. They've never seen it. And I'm going to help them. Yeah, we're all going to help them. I mean, they're actually putting all black people down. They're basically saying, without us liberal whites, you can't survive, but we're here to support you. And, those Republicans, those conservatives over there, all evil. They're evil. They're this, they're that, they're cults. It's like they can go around and say all of that. But if you're a Republican and you say anything, you're fucked. And it's just like, it's so insulting to me. But that they go on national TV and they literally act like black people don't have IDs because they don't know how to get to the driver's license. I mean, like, seriously? Like, they constantly make the black community and brown community look like they're, like, retarded peasants, And no, wait, I can't say that word. Not retarded. That was for entertainment purposes only. Like short bus shorties, you know what I mean? Like the people that rode the short bus. I mean, they act like they're Captain Save-A-Hose, but they're the ones that created all the problems. They create all the problems, then they create the solutions, and they give the contracts to their friends. But, I mean, people should be offended by that. I'm offended by it. Okay. I'm literally offended by it. Okay, so on a serious note, though, today, unfortunately, Slovakia's Prime Minister, Robert Fico, I believe that's how you say it, he was shot, I believe, 5 times in an attempted assassination. And what's really to be thought of right here with this is, okay, if you go back and you start looking at the assassinations of, like, all these crypto millionaires, okay, and all these people, there's always one trend to, the people that are connected to, like, or they go against a certain group of people in an establishment, and then they end up committing suicide by, like, shooting themselves in the head, and then they go and hang themselves in a tree. After they're dead, they hung themselves. Go figure. In that world, it's okay. In peasant world, it's not. All right? So, there's been a lot of attempted end assassinations worldwide. And it's mainly against, or it's targeted to, what the news keeps calling the far right, the alt-right. These crazy, conspiracy, nationalists. God forbid they love their fucking country. These news outlets, they're the ones that keep talking about it. But what they're not talking about, what they should be talking about, is how all these assassinations and, like, these crypto millionaires, like all these people that are suicided, like just like Jeffrey Epstein, we hear all this crap about TikTok and Instagram. All of a sudden now they want to have, like, some kind of control over it to know what's going on. All of a sudden, when Epstein's clients have not even been brought to justice. See what I'm saying? It's beyond hypocritical. Okay, but back to my original point. So he was against the WHO treaty, He was also against the World Economic Forum. He rejected money to Ukraine. He rejected joining NATO. He rejected the EU Migration Pact. And he rejected the WHO pandemic treaty. And I don't care what side of the fence you're on, that WHO pandemic treaty is serious. Because, okay, so just like we found out, a lot of things, you know, now the media is like, oh, well, we got it wrong, and my bad, we're sorry. Like, we're just supposed to forget everything that happened, everything they said. We're just going to write it off now because the truth is coming out. Like, I mean, come on. Basically just wait a couple of years and a conspiracy is conspiracy truth, you know? But I just find it really hard to believe that all these things are happening and you got whistleblowers coming out, you got all these people coming out, and the first thing they all say is, I'm not suicidal, or I'm not this, I'm not that. And just like the Boeing whistleblowers, they're dead, 2 of them. I mean, can you imagine being the hit guy for them? I mean, I'm just saying, like, everything is literally in front of our faces. We see it, we know it, we all know what's going on. And it's scary too. Because basically in other countries, like, they're banning free speech, to where if you talk against the government or against, you know, the WHO and what certain groups of people say, it's considered hate speech and you can be imprisoned for it. I mean, if this isn't 1984 Orwellian shit, I don't know what is. And we're heading in such a dangerous direction, and nobody is paying attention. Nobody's paying attention. They're too busy watching things and paying attention to things that aren't pointless, they're meaningless. But the whole goal, is to desecrate the middle class. Everybody will lose their homes, just like, I think there was 500 million people who foreclosed on since COVID. And guess who bought those up? BlackRock, Vanguard. So while they keep running the prices up, more and more people go into debt. More and more people lose things. Then small businesses are going to get cut out because they can't afford the inflation. They can't afford the taxes. They can't afford the new minimum wage. So people got to close down. So there's a huge effect on it. And that is the whole point. It's a very slow, methodical plan. But people are starting to notice it now. And it's sad because it's too late. It's too late. There's no going back now. This is going to be the new norm, where we rent everything. We own nothing. Well, I don't know if my generation is going to start to see it. But it's just, to me, it's sad. It's very sad. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, what the fuck are you going to do? I mean, we have all these people saying they're going to stand up for us, and the ones who do stand up for us, well, they end up committing suicide. People that whistleblow for Boeing or for big pharmaceutical companies, or against, certain politicians, that rhyme with Dillery, 58 close friends that all just off themselves. It's just it's very clear. I mean, just look up all the assassinations on far right people who stand up against the establishment, the World Economic Forum and stuff like that. A lot of journalists here, they all end up, I mean, the whole thing is weird, but just follow the money. Love you guys. Have a good night. Bye.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges.
Plan that states those jobs that we are in high demand, we could expedite. How do we have a large body of people that are in our city and country that are excellent swimmers, And at the same time, we need lifeguards. And the only obstacle is that we won't give them the right to work to become a lifeguard.
Instead of working together to push Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum plan based on United Nations policies, work together instead for our country. Klaus Schwab's life by subscription, quote, is really serfdom. It's slavery. Billionaire globalist corporations will own everything: homes, factories, farms, cars, furniture. And everyday citizens will rent what they need, if their social credit score allows. The plan of the Great Reset is that you will die with nothing. To pull off this evil plan, Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum will need to take more than just material possessions from Australians. Senators in this very chamber today who support the Great Reset threaten our privacy, freedom and dignity. Yes, they're in this Senate chamber. One Nation vehemently opposes the Great Reset, the Digital Identity Bill, theft of agricultural land use, forcing farmers off their land, and all of the Great Reset. One Nation has a comprehensive plan to bring our beautiful country back to sustainable prosperity. And in the months ahead, we will be rolling that plan out. Instead of Lib Lab pushing Klaus Schwab's Great Reset with the tagline, "You will own nothing and be happy," One Nation advocates the Great Resist. We stand for a world where individuals and communities have primacy over predatory globalist billionaires and their quisling bureaucrats, politicians and mouthpiece media. One Nation accepts the challenge to provide a better future for everyday Australians. We have one flag, we are one community, and we are one nation.
We're undergoing a soft coup, and the idea is to create a whole new set of laws and ignore the existing human rights laws and other laws under the pretext of pandemic preparedness and the biosecurity agenda. The WHO is developing through all its nations a pandemic treaty and amendments to the existing international health regulations that will remove the human rights protections currently embedded in the IHRs, will enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, require governments to censor and only push a single narrative. Also, we will be subject, if they can make this work, to vaccines developed in 100 days, which the organization CEPI is planning to do, get rid of intellectual property rights, move supplies from one country to another, enforce digital passports, and the Director General of WHO can demand that a pandemic or a potential pandemic exists. He can just declare it with no standards, and then countries around the world will have to obey.